All right, y'all. My name is Ekin. Today we're gonna be looking at three Reddit stories. All right. Before we continue, I'd like you to like and subscribe and share, please. If you don't, I'm gonna call Casper to haunt you for the rest of your days. But anyways, let's get right into it.
Yo, what's up? I don't know who that was, but let's get right into the first story. I thought my boyfriend was cheating on me, but it was much worse. My boyfriend, 28, and I, 22, have been dating for just over a year, and everything had been going great. We met over a mutual hobby, and eventually got together after a few months later. I've recently been moving into a new house, so I have had to leave some larger items at his place. Someone important later on. I first thought my boyfriend was cheating on me a few months ago. I was at his place for the weekend, as I had a few days off work for my birthday. So one of the days, we had gone out to do some shopping, so I could treat myself for my birthday, and buy some things for my new place. One of these things I bought was a board game to play, as I am a big fan of them in general. So later in the day, we eat dinner, and then sit down to play my new game, which is this game where you have to name things in a category and tilt to shoot before a ball reaches your side. My boyfriend had gone to the bathroom while I set up the game, and I waited for 5 to 10 minutes before he came back down to play. As we were playing, I said an answer that he didn't think was right, so he went to check his phone, which is where I noticed that he had a Grinder app open as one of his recently opened apps. Hey, yo, who's gonna tell her? But let's continue. I told him to go back and I clicked on it and asked him to let me see his phone. At this point, he said fuck, as he knows he's been caught out, and he sat with his head in his hands. I'll spare the details on most of the messages, but it was the typical flirting you see on Grindr, with pics from both sides. One in particular that caught my attention was one he had actually set a meetup with, asking if the person was free on Wednesday at 6 p.m., 2 hours after I was leaving to go home. At this point, I'm screaming at him, asking him why he would do this, and a bunch of things I'm forgetting about. He tells me that he doesn't meet up with anyone, and that he just uses the chats to jerk off to. I just look at him confused, and ask why he doesn't just watch porn, or use the pics I sent him. And he explains he likes the live chat more than just old pics, and that he doesn't want to ask me because he knows my libido has been down recently due to some medication I'm on. Bro, what the fuck? Like, am I missing something, bro? I hate myself for even seeing the logic in this, but eventually I calmed down a bit and tell him he has to stop doing it, and that if he's horny, he should talk to me. Eventually, we're both sat on the bed, and I'm comforting him as he's crying. So at this point, I've believed him that he's not cheating. He's just used to the wrong head and done something stupid. He says he's going to sleep on the couch, but I tell him that I don't want him to, and he should come sleep in the bed, because I love him, and I couldn't believe he'd do something like this. Nothing really happened for the next couple months. He's been his usual sweet self, chatting like we usually do. All that's different is I'm trying to be more sexual for him, so I'm sending him more pictures and making more of an effort to get myself in a mood. We then get to about 3 weeks ago, where he comes to my place on the Sunday to help me do some work on the house. We have a good day taking things apart, so go to the tip and cut up the old carpet. He goes home and everything seems fine. Then a few days later on Wednesday, he goes radio silence. He doesn't answer my calls, messages, or anything. Eventually, I found his mom on Instagram and sent her a message on the Friday. She explains that she's been trying to find a way to contact me and to ring when I get a chance. So my mind's racing, thinking he's falling down his stairs, since they were very steep. And before that, I thought he had just fallen out with me over something. So I call her and she tells me that he's been arrested and they don't know where he is. So I'm shocked and don't know what to think, as he's never done anything that would make me think he could have been arrested. It wasn't even a possibility I had thought about. Eventually, a week or so passes, and we all hear nothing from him. All we know is that he has been arrested, and that his car is outside his house. Nothing has been taken, apart from his phone and his computer hard drive. So I'm left wondering, what is it he could have done? As there are a short list of crimes that they take hard drives for, like terrorism, fraud, or anything to do with children. Another week passes and I've made plans to pick up my stuff from his house with his mom. When my mom shows me something my brother found, and it's a bail notice stating that he's been accused of communicating with underage children with this sexual intent. Bro, what the fuck? Nah, lock his ass up. Bro's a weirdo. Cause what? I can't help but feel sick and betrayed. I feel disgusted and guilty for not finding anything when I searched his phone. We've since received letters from him saying how sorry he is and how much he loves us all and that he hasn't done anything, but I can't help but feel disgusted by him. But I also can't help but miss him and the messages I always wake up to, and it makes me feel sick. We unfortunately don't have a court date or a judge's verdict yet, but I had to get it out of my head and somewhere else. Bruh, the OP is saying we. There should be no we. And there should literally be no we in this conversation. I have no plans to stay with him, but I can't help but feel sorry for his parents who are lovely, the children involved, and also feel like a victim myself. All I can do now is wait to hear anything and leave any updates. Wow. The crazy thing is, when she saw him on a Grindr app and he was trying to hide it, she should have been, suspicious from that point. She shouldn't have overlooked it, But the fact he was arrested with the malicious thought of communicating with underage children with a sexual intent, oh nah, yeah, lock him up, bro. Alright, so this next story is kind of funny. It says, am I the asshole for calling out my cousin when she tried to blame her body odor on me? Hey, yo, bruh. I, 18 female from Ontario, Canada, and my cousin 19 female is from Florida, USA. I am staying with her family in Florida. We were out at midday at an outdoor restaurant, and my cousin's boyfriend 20 was to meet us. My cousin had a sweaty body odor, but she had an active day. The boyfriend kissed my cousin, and she introduced us. At the table, he made a face. When I looked away, my cousin tried to whisper to her boyfriend, but I heard the smell is from my name. Please don't say anything. I said the smell is not from me. The boyfriend got his nose close to my cousin's upper body and smelled her. He kissed her on top of her head and told her it's humanizing when such a beautiful woman gets smelly. And she laughed awkwardly. On the ride back home, she told me I unnecessarily embarrassed her. She said I broke the girl's code. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. Because I'll be damned if my cousin was to go out their way to try to embarrass me to look good in front of their boyfriend. Hell nah. And the fact is that they broke the girl code. No code was broken because nobody brought it up. It was her that whispered into her boyfriend's ear and said something about body odor or things of that nature. But all in all, the OP, you're not the asshole. So this last and third story is, I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me. So this is coming from a 26-year-old male, and this is how it goes. I was in a relationship for almost a year. We were a good couple. We supported each other in everything. We went shopping together, had lunch dates, and sometimes took trips. I loved every bit of it. It was such a beautiful experience. I could have spent my whole entire life with her. I was planning to marry her. However, we lacked intimacy because she wasn't ready for it. Sometimes we argued about it, and in anger, she would say things like, go do it with someone else, or let's break up, or she'd actually break up with me. Then I'd apologize, then things would cool down, and we would get back together like nothing happened. Eventually, I had to move to a different city for work. Still, everything stayed the same. I had to visit her every weekend. But one weekend, I couldn't go do the work. I was alone in my apartment, which sucked. I had never lived without my family before. That weekend, we ended up arguing about the same issue again. But this time it felt different. Maybe it was my friends who influenced me. Guys who would say, bro, you're not even in a relationship if you're not having sex. That's just friendship, not love. Yeah, that right there is far from the truth. But I digress. They used to laugh at me. I also hated how she would break up with me whenever she wanted. It made me feel unwanted, emotionally shut down. My needs were always met with dismissal. During that fight, I finally said, you can't keep doing this. You can't just break up with me whenever you want. I don't like this. After that, we stopped talking after a few days. I kept thinking, are we really fighting over something so small? Maybe she didn't love me enough. My ego was hurt. I thought, what does she think? What if she leaves me? No one else will ever want me. I obsessed over it for 48 hours straight. I couldn't sleep. It was the worst feeling, and it led to an even worse mistake. A few days later, a girl from my office, who was clearly into me, came over to my place. I had no intention of doing anything, but somehow we ended up having sex. The moment it was over, I was consumed by regret, guilt, and shame. I asked her to leave. I cried, I yelled. I punched the wall multiple times. You see, bruh, why would you jeopardize your relationship over lust? You see, the best thing you could have done was just wait until your girlfriend at the time was ready, you know? I'm like, come on, man. And that's when I realized sex with someone you don't love means absolutely nothing. Facts. It's one of the worst things you can do to yourself. But by then, it was too late. I had destroyed our love, our sacred bond, our happiness, everything I had cherished. I would do anything for her, I mean anything. But I couldn't lie to her. I never did. I told her everything. She never forgave me. I tried everything to make it right. I left my job. I moved back to the city. I tried to contact her. She blocked me everywhere. I bought new SIM cards. She blocked those too. You see, now, come on, bro. You fucked up again. Why would you leave your job? Come on, bro. Like, you should have stayed at your job and try to move on. Since then, my life has turned upside down. I'm depressed. I ask myself how I could have done this to her, especially knowing how it feels when someone does it to you. She accepted me. She gave me love, care, and support, and I broke her heart. Now, I barely speak to my family. I don't eat properly. I cry at night. All I want is her back. I'll do anything to undo what I did. Bro had one job. All he had to do was just wait. But bro let, lust overcome his moral compass. But like they say, you live, you learn. And hopefully, I hope the OP learned from this mistake. But as I'm looking at this post at the same time, the fact that the ex-girlfriend was, constantly, breaking up with him every time, I don't think that relationship was bound to last. Because if you are constantly, breaking up with someone and getting back together, that's not a sign of a healthy relationship. It looks like they were both not meant for each other. And that relationship was not healthy from the start. But nevertheless, yeah, the OP, messed up, bruh. And I hope the OP learned from this mistake. Alright, that is it for today.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And if you have any, Reddit stories you'd like me to narrate over, you can leave them in the description. And I'll be sure to check them out. Until next time.